All right. Today we're going to be talking about titi monkeys and everything that's cool about them. Just let the record show. The Safaki monkey is my favorite. Just saying. Okay. Um, but titi monkeys are my second favorite, so that's okay. So we're going to hop right into the taxonomy of it. And their common name is the titi monkey. It's spelled multiple ways. Sometimes it's spelled Teetee monkey, but we like to spell it Titi monkey. Its scientific name is the Calicebus. Other names it goes by is the Luca Luca or the Luchachi, sometimes called in Germany the jumping monkey. It is known to leap a lot. It's underneath the anthro. I can't say the rest of that word. Anthropoid. I can't say it. Next, under the Plat, Irini, and the Pithosi family, and within the TT family, there is over 20 subspecies within it. Moving on to the anatomy of it, it's usually around 2 kilograms. It can vary from 2 kilograms being 4.4 pounds. It could vary from like 3.8 to almost 5 pounds, kind of like the size of a rabbit. Um, It is averagely 25 to 60 centimeters, that being around 10 to 24 inches. That does not include their tail. Their tail is around the same size, sometimes a little bit bigger. They tend to have long, soft fur, um, small faces, like their face is relatively small to their head, rounded heads, light colored. They have lighter colored underneath their arms and stomach compared to the rest of their fur, which tends to be dark brown, gray, or reddish or blackish. Um, and their tail is not prehensile, so they use it for balance, but they don't use it to climb or anything like that. And they're also monomorphic, so they are not uh, males and females look pretty much the same. Slight differences, but nothing crazy. Uh, we're going to move on to the geographic location. They tend to be located in South American rainforest, within the Amazon and the Atlantic forest um, of Brazil. And they don't tend to be located anywhere else unless they're in um, captivity. But other than that, that's where they're located. And their habitat goes right with that is they're located in the trees of like these wet forest dense areas. Um, they like river edges, lake edges, swamp edges, in the underbrush, in the gallery forest, mainly in the upper canopy of these trees. They're always near water though. They like the thick thorny bushes. Probably adds a lot to protection for them. Um, Moving on to their home and day range. Their home range is about 4 to 1.4. I can convert that real quick. That's like a 10 acres plus or minus 3. I think that's what that converts to. And their daily range is about 670 plus or minus 194 meters, which is around 30 miles. So their home range is not it's not crazy, but it's pretty big, and they travel a decent amount during the day. They take a lot of breaks, and they don't tend to go too far from each other, so that kind of shortens it. But I think 30 miles is pretty good for a daily range. That's dependent on the weather, though. I mean, if it's colder, they won't travel that far. They also will have later starts to the day, so it shortens it. And also, if it's raining a lot, that slows them down. They'll monitor their areas of their territory, the male and female will, and they'll do this by calling to each other from wherever they're traveling around. So they'll separate and patrol their area. Um, they are territorial and they will defend their family, but they don't tend to go out seeking aggression um, trouble and stuff. And there tends to be very low overlap between the groups, the different pair bonds of the titi monkeys, so they stick to their areas. Um, their daily activities is they're up for a long time. They're up from sunrise to sunset. They're diurnal. They have two feeding sessions, one in the beginning of the day and one in the later day. The later one being bigger, a longer feeding session, and then they have a break in between. And they will stay in their sleeping site a little bit longer during the winter, and so that gives them a late start to the day. So then their morning feeding will be a little bit shorter, but usually they have 11 to 12-hour days. Uh, they they'll have sleeping sessions in between where they like to cuddle up and hold each other's tail, like as shown in the picture right here. And they, other than that, they will groom each other and kind of sing duets with each other whenever they're cuddling. And um, other than that, they need to feed all the time because they're mainly survive on fruits and leaves, so they're gonna have to eat a lot. All right, moving on to the positional behavior. They're quadrupedal. They're rarely on the ground. They're very quick. They will walk, climb, and leap and bound through the top of the trees. If they do go to the ground, they'll hop and leap horizontally, trying to get off as quick as possible. And they never let the tail touch the ground ever. So that's pretty cool. Their diet, their diet is they're mainly frugivores, but they also are called strong omnivores because they predominantly eat fruits, but uh, they have been known to eat other things like bird eggs, insects, small vertebrates, um, moths, butterflies, spiders, and they'll catch those midair. They'll leap through the tree and snatch one out of the air. Um, but they are pretty picky. They prefer like the fruit that's not so ripe and younger leaves. So they'll go to smaller trees and sit there and eat those for longer periods of time just to get their fill, but because they're smaller leaves, but they prefer them that way. Um, but other than that, that's mainly what they eat. Mostly fruits. Sometimes they substitute other stuff. Their social organization, they're actually monogamous, so they pair bond with each other, which is the cool thing about them. So they'll choose a mate and they'll stick with them, and that's it. It's just them and their kids for their territory. They're very affectionate. Their affection doesn't die down after having a kid, like a lot of primates do. They actually continue to be affectionate and doesn't. They don't let the parental load hinder them in any way. They always stay close to each other, even when they're separated. They call to each other because they got really bad separation anxiety. Um, they both are very heavy parental figures. The male and female, take care of their offsprings equally, and they are heavy groomers. They love to groom each other and show affection that way, along with cuddling and singing their duets, like I told you about. They get on a branch, they bounce up and down, and they sing, and it kind of marks the territory, but also says, "Hey, we're in love. Back off," you know. So the group size is 2 to 5, depending on how big their family is. Their social structure is they stick to themselves. They're very territorial when it comes to their family, but they they'll tolerate other primates for the most part, but they don't like other TT monkeys really coming around. So if it gets too close, they're like, "Get out of here." But they're pretty they're pretty solitary within their family, and they once they the males will kind of boost their ego and stuff and fly around to get a female. Once they do, that's it. They're done. And their mating system, they have 4 to 5 months of gestation, and they usually do this once to maybe twice a year. They only give birth to one offspring. It's non seasonal. It's just they have a cool down time of like 8 to 10 months after they have a kid that they need to rest. So once to twice a year they'll have a kid, and they tend to live like 23 years, so they can have kids for a while. But generally they'll have 3 to 5 kids on average. Um, Predators, there's a few. They do pretty good avoiding them, but they do have like the raptor bird, and eagles, and oh, what's the name of it? It's the Guanan crested eagle, I believe, and a hawk eagle. That they'll small or big, they'll come and pick them up and take them away. The one on the bottom right on the screen is the um, raptor that goes after him. There are some cats in the Amazon that will go and search for them, like the ocelot, but they since they're non since the titi monkeys are arboreal and stay in the trees mostly, it's hard for them to get them. Snakes will come by and try to snatch them, but they are very good at hiding and also playing dead, so the snakes will bypass them a lot of the times. And so they stick to themselves, they hide, they stay up in the trees and play dead when spotted. It keeps them pretty safe. They are critically endangered. There's not a lot of them, and some subspecies are a little better off, but they're all endangered and need to be saved. And yeah, here's the bibliography for it. Give that a second, and that's it. Go look up some TT monkeys.